Attention, please. The show starts in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
Yo, peace and love to all my brothers and sisters. Hey, man, we back and we back alive, you guys. I just want to give it up to God again. First off, we got to start that way because if it wasn't for God, you guys, trust and believe, we wouldn't have this Wi-Fi, we wouldn't have these tablets, these phones, these houses. Anything wouldn't be possible if it wasn't for yours truly. Okay, you guys. So, for sure, most definitely, we're gonna have a dynamic standing on business today, you guys. So I'm most definitely excited about moving forward with everything. Again, I want to give it up a big shout out to Mr. Delano. Shouts out to the mob. Y'all know who it is. Master in our business, you guys. What we do as a collective, as an organization, we want all the hustlers. We want all the go-getters. We want all the grinders. We want all the business owners. We want all the entrepreneurs. We want everybody that want to change the trajectory, not just in their life, but the people around us. Follow me, guys. So I want to give a big shout out to the mob and everything. Anybody else? Also, if you guys want to join the mob, make sure that you guys look at the link below. Follow us on the Instagram page. We have the Mob TV actually dropping coming soon as well too. So the production is growing. Also, you want to see any upcoming events, make sure you guys go to the website and make sure that y'all log in. Also, please don't forget, we do have apparel. So just to let you guys know that mastering our business is a big deal, you guys, because we're all over the nation. We have people that's joining us on a daily. But at the end of the day, though, the goal is to become a real unit or a community that's going to be giving back to everybody, right? So my goal is, or our goal is just to be aware, is to be alive, but just to get the message out. If you know someone that knows anything about whatever industry that they in, and they're looking to get to the next level, you have a lot of different platforms, a lot of different products and services that will help anyone get to the next level, you guys. So with no further ado, I don't want to hold back. Again, you guys all know today is standing on business. 10 toes down, you guys. All right. So we're gonna get right into it. We have another pioneer, a dynamic, leader herself. I'm telling you, she's doing. I'm talking about an amazing job with her portfolio, helping other people, as well. When it comes down to when we have business funding, business credit, structuring your business the right way. Also with credit, you guys, learning the importance on how to even leverage it, you guys. She do a lot of small things. She's a serial entrepreneur, so that's another thing as well too, you guys. Again, like I said, God fearing lady, and I'm telling you guys, we're going to take a lot of things by storm, and I'm so glad that Mr. Delano himself, has put us together. Her the interview that she did was just mind blowing. So I was super excited. I said, wait, no, we got to link together. We got to put this together. So I want, with no further ado, I want to bring up the goddess herself, Miss Elon. Come on and tune in with us today because I most definitely would love to hear just a little bit more about, also freestyling, but just also as well, what it is that you do. Also your end goal as well too, because I know a lot of times we have goals that we're trying to accomplish now, but what is the real end goal, for Miss Elon? But just, tell us a little bit about what's going on with your queen.
Hey, Mob, what's up? Shout out, y'all. Shout out to Mob. Shout out Delano. Shout out Mr. Thank you for having me. I really appreciate y'all having me here. I'm into the same thing you into, my brother. And so I own a consulting firm and I'm a business strategist. I help small and medium sized businesses get funding for their business. I help them start their business. I help them get compliant. I help them with their credit if they need credit, a credit fix, anything you might need. All things business is within my infrastructure, right? So we do very similar things, right? I also am into real estate as well. So for a long time, I did real estate and like a large portfolio of real estate. Now I just do here and there, but I'm into that as well. But the end goal is to help as many people as possible that look like me, right? To get in a better financial situation and to understand the nuances of business and the nuances of setting up a business, structuring a business profile, structuring a credit profile, and making sure they can get a maximum amount of funding for their families and for themselves.
Man, gratitude. I really appreciate that. That was one of my main, objectives when I actually came home from school. I went to Jackson State, and I was always, asked, "What you want to be when you grow up?" And I used to always say, "I want to be a family man." And they were just so loving about it and everything. But they was like, "That's not a job. That's not occupation." So I was like, "Well, I want to dress up. I want to wear a suit every day to work." So they said, "Oh, you want to be a businessman?" So it was like, when I came home from school, I was like, okay, how can I help the community, or how can I help people, strive to do what they love to do, a passion. I don't care if you shine shoes, make shoes, if you sell clothes, make clothes, if you cook, or if you know how to, prep for cooking, whatever it is, whatever your passion and you feel like that's your purpose, I wanted to help them start a business. So I got into sales and marketing. I was doing door to door sales. I've been in that industry since 2015, and then also just getting into the marketing side of it as well too. That's how I stumbled across and got in tune with Mr. Delano. But after that, it was like, okay, what is the missing piece of the puzzle? And it was credit. So financial literacy has been always on my mind since 2019, and starting my company just like you did as well too. That was my end goal. I said I want to build a million black businesses, and I know Mr. John Hope, shout out to Operation Hope, with actually helping people actually do that, as being a partnership with them as well. Me and you as well. Now we'll be able to do that. So, with the first question, I know Mr. Delano was gonna, assist us with that, but we get this a lot, and I want to really get your perspective of not just credit repair but credit restoration or business funding. Which one really should come first?
You always want to work on your personal credit first. And the reason why you want to do that first is because you can't get an apartment, you can't get a car, you can't get a house, you can't get anything without having your personal credit together. Okay. So you always want to make sure you have your personal credit together first. You also can't get personally guaranteed business funding without personal credit, right?
Hmm.
So you have to focus on your personal credit. That's like paramount, right? It's the most important foundation of your life if you're going to be moving in this country. So
Hmm.
is first, always first.
Always first. And I tell a lot of my clients and family, friends, peers, anybody, it's our adult report card. You know how it was, when you were in school, the grades and everything, how you doing or whatever. That's our report card now. When you want to know how somebody is doing, and if they're responsible, things like that, you ask them, hey, what's your credit score? And as far as that, just to dig a little deeper, like you said, your credit report is the important part of it, because that's what, as far as getting business funding, that's what they're looking at. So you have to have your credit report structured right, with a certain amount of accounts and, credit utilization, payment history, all of that plays the factor. So, especially with you in the real estate, industry as well too, some people, didn't have the credit that they needed. So they had to say, oh, okay, so I got to go back a step to even get, approved for, the first homeowner loans and stuff of that nature and everything. So, yeah, I really thought about that the other day, as far as like, okay, who really needs to know that, okay, personal credit, like credit restoration and everything, because credit repair is kind of basically a band-aid. So I know you tell your clients a lot, hey, listen, we need to restore it, we need to get your personal information back correct, we need to make sure that all of your components is lining up, because if that doesn't take place, then we won't be able to move on to business funding if you even trying to do that. So yeah, that's always kind of like a kicker sometimes when it boils down to knowing what's first and what's second and everything. So yeah, I like that stuff though. Come on with it.
Indeed.
All right, now is bootstrapping better than borrowing? Oh,
So
this
we
is a
talked
good
about this
one.
last
I'm
week.
like,
So I'm ready to talk about this one.
yeah, come on, talk to me.
So last week, I think Brother Delano asked me a question, and it was pertaining to like saving money or something like that. And I was like, how I do my businesses, I get funding for my businesses. I don't put my money in my. I keep my money and I invest my money, and I get funding from my businesses, right? So bootstrapping is good for a specific person, right? If you're in a situation where you have to bootstrap, then bootstrap, right? I'm not saying don't bootstrap and it's a bad thing to do. Definitely bootstrap. And you can learn a lot of things from bootstrapping. But if you have a solid business plan, a solid idea, and you know how to execute, borrow the money and keep your money. Yeah, for sure. Okay. So a lot of times bootstrapping is if you're going into business for yourself and you need to buy tools, you need to buy business cards, you need a license, you need all these different startup funds, right? And let's just say the startup funds might cost you 5K, something like that. A person may hustle to get the money up. A person may take the funds from their job, whatever they have left over their job from their actual job, and save up to use that money in bootstrap, and then they invest that money, and then they work. And what they do is they work, and keep reinvesting the money that they make, any profits that they make back into the business, right? But they're never having any of the money to like to keep for themselves to live off of. They really don't have a lot of the money to do much unless you just got this idea that's making tons and tons of money where you can. But a lot of times, a lot of businesses, startup businesses, end up having to reinvest every profit back to the business until you get to that point. So bootstrapping is just simply saving and hustling. It really is just hustling, to be honest, if you ask me.
Heart touching because I see so many people, doing it now and they're so content and comfortable of doing it because, like you said, they started that way. And then now when they try to get into the business funding part, sometimes they're afraid. They don't even want to, get the higher limits that they may get to because they so are comfortable with what they've been doing already. They like, oh, well, I've been doing this. I've been doing this, so I'm gonna just keep going this way. Whatever come my way, I'll do it. Well, no, listen, we wasn't. See, a lot of this information wasn't taught. We seeing it happen around us a lot of times. For other businesses that may be doing just a little bit better than theirs, and they be like, "Well, I've been doing it longer and everything." But just because you've been in the game a little bit longer, that doesn't mean that the ways are now is a little bit different on getting there a little bit faster. So yeah, the bootstrapping thing is just like it's like you say, it's more work. Work smart, not hard. When you get in business funding and you get in those lines of credit and credit cards, that's what you need. That's what it's called, business funding, to expand your business. And then once like yourself, help them strategize and put it into a budget and using which credit card or which line of credit to get those supplies or get that equipment or get the advertising that they need. Now they'll be able to see their return on their investment. ROI, you guys, remember, if you want to get your business to the next level, you're going to have to invest. Whether it's with mentorship, or if it's with research, getting with the mob, that's basically what it is. You got Okay, cool. Technical difficulties a little bit, but one we gotta go on with the show. Most definitely, man. Elon is in the house, you guys. Shouts out to Elon. Before we keep going, I know bro about to bring up some more questions, but please drop your hashtag. I mean not your hashtag, but your handles and everything. I want everybody to make sure that they tap in with you because again, once this collaboration, come together after this, it's about to go to the next level. So I want everybody to still, come out and support, and everything for you as well.
Agree.
So you want to, yeah, you can drop your handles. Like, how can they get in, in contact with you, like all your platforms?
Word. Okay. Yeah. I'm on Instagram and TikTok as Instagram elephant underscore funding. I got to spell it for you because it's not elephant, right? It's ELEFIN underscore funding. And on TikTok, ELEFIN funding. So I'm on Instagram and TikTok. I'm not on YouTube yet. I'm working on that. I'm on Facebook, but Facebook is dead.
Yeah, I know. I'm seeing it, and then it's so crazy. Mr. Delano has all. He's like, he's like he's like a psychic, like literally, like everything that transpire, and surely but surely, what I'm saying, it comes and it pops out. Like he was saying about the TikTok thing. We were listening, we did it, we started, but we didn't tap in super hard like we supposed to. It flew up. So it's like certain other things that we have to, try to do our best to adapt to, because I was the same way. I was strictly just like Facebook, and then Instagram was kind of like my, my back partner, my partner in crime. But then, we was forgetting about, Twitter and, TikTok and also YouTube. Now we got things like Twitch and, other different, platforms and everything. But like, man, let's get back into it. I saw the question and everything. So, do you think that uh, business credit is more important than personal credit?
They're equally as important to me, but before you can ever get any business credit, you're gonna need to get your personal credit straight, right? So, like I said before, personal credit is your foundation, right? And you said it's a report card as an adult. This is how you're going to be judged, right? Amongst your peers, amongst anyone that's competing against you, trying to get the same type of funding you trying to get. So to me, they're equally as important. But if you're not in business, then business credit doesn't matter, right?
Right.
But if you're in business, business credit matters, right?
Hmm.
Credit matters the most, and you treat your business credit like you treat your personal credit. You don't treat it any less important. Okay, so you definitely want to make sure that it is just as important as your personal credit. And if your personal credit means a lot to you, and you at the 800s, then you want to be at a 90 or better in your paydex score.
Hmm.
And the 90's all right, you know what I mean? But it's not the best. But you want to be at a 90 or better on paydex, right? So it's very important that you make sure that you have a very good business credit profile, just as you would have a personal credit profile.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. Because it's a lot of people that got personal credit and they don't have no business, but they doing well for themselves. They leverage their credit. They living off their credit. They getting cash back reward points, and they getting free flights and stuff like that. So yeah, of course, personal credit. Credit means trust in Latin. So a lot of times when people don't have good credit, it's basically because a lot of lenders and banks and financial institutions they don't trust you at the moment, but that's not for long. Once they get with people like ourselves and help them get to the next level, then okay, cool. Now you can leverage the credit and everything. And then when it comes down to the business credit and everything, once you get those certain accounts reflecting and reporting on your credit report, then you don't necessarily have to use yourself as a PG no more. You can start, use your EIN only. And then that's how, like you say, build the payday score and things like that. Real quick before the next question, as far as with the business credit, like what are some good things on how they can, build business credit without doing the PG way? What are some things that they can add strictly just like, with their EIN and stuff like that?
So if you have an EIN, you could go to like Sam's Club and get a EIN only funding. I think Costco offers it as well, if I'm not mistaken. I haven't tried that one yet, but I believe so.
Hmm.
You can do like Quill, of course, anything that's gonna allow you to get like a net 30, net 60, net 90 accounts where you basically buy something on credit and then you got 90 days to pay it back. So if you remember back in the day, they used to send us these CDs or cassettes or whatnot.
Hmm.
You remember?
Yeah,
Okay.
I do.
It kind of worked like that. So, they'll say, oh, get it for $1, right? So you'll order up a bunch of CDs. And they didn't really mean get it for $1.
No, it
They
didn't. That was the real you in.
Yeah, that was the real you win. You bought up all these CDs, but they give you amount of time to pay it, right? They give you
Right,
amount of time to pay it. And then if you don't pay it, then they're gonna report it to your credit, right?
right.
So very similar to that. Um, so yeah, you can go to like Chevron. A lot of gas cards would be a good kind of like EIN only funding, especially if you're in trucking. Um, Quill. I'm trying to think. Help me out.
Oh, okay, so yeah. So you got it's some other ones. Like you say, you can get gas cards. Sometimes I get some people to get gas cards, EIN only. Nav, they have like a credit builder platform that you can use. Guns and Bradstreet, they have one too. You can set up and pay like a certain amount. You have eCredible, anything that's in your business name. Basically, everything that you're paying on every month, they're going to use that as a payment as far as every month as well too, using that platform. Biz Credit Central is another
Yep.
one. Yeah, red spectrum. So what I've learned too, and you know this as well as everybody, that when you get into business credit, it's all about what you're paying every month. Those net 30s, net 60s, they're going to post that payment to your paydex score to show that, hey, okay, Miss Elon Funding has paid us this month. She's paid this month. She's paid that this month. Along with the credit cards and everything. But those trade lines that you add, and you want to get a gang of them. Trust me, the more the merrier. Because again, once lenders are looking at your business credit profile and they see all of these accounts that are active and that are pretty much in the green, the sky's the limit when it comes to that. So yeah, I'm super excited when it comes down to knowing the difference and breaking down the two. But like you said, you can't get one without the other. And personal credit starting off first is always the foundation. That's the foundation to building that house. Building up and
Amen.
everything. So I know we got a few more other questions, man. Delano got some heat for us today. I'm loving it. Okay, so are grants more valuable than loans? Wow. Now this a kicker right here. This you get real deep, deep. Shouts out to Delano, man. You guys, y'all just don't know. That brother's so powerful and impactful, man. I love what he do day in and day out, man. For sure, for sure. I kid you not, you guys. I mean, I know he try to do his best to get sleep a lot here and there or whatever, but this man is, Mr. King Sacrifice. I most definitely can't say that. But shouts out to him again. But yeah, for sure. What is more valuable, grants or loans? What's more?
So it depends on who you asking, right? So
Hmm.
for a 501c3, a grant would be more valuable to them, right?
Right.
Um, for a LLC, for a C corp, LLP, loans are more valuable because we just talked about it, right? We're trying to build a profile, a credit profile, and in order to get more funding, we're going to need to see that you know how to handle credit. And if we can't
Exactly.
see how you handle credit, then we're not going to offer you any. So it really just depends on who you're asking to be. But I think that if you're in business and you can get grants, go for it, right? but you also want to go for loans as well. So it really just depends on what business you're in, um, and how you trying to move, right? So I
Right.
think that I'm gonna give loans a little more leverage over grants, but grants are great for people who are bootstrapping all day long. If you can apply for
Talk your ish there.
if you are bootstrapping, you want to apply for as many grants as possible. And if your
Hmm.
credit is not where it needs to be, then you need to be trying to apply for grants because you do need infusion of cash aside from whatever you got going on, or the money, the little money, not the little money. I'm sorry. I ain't trying to belittle nobody's business, but the money that you're making, right?
Hmm.
To build your business, aside from continuously putting every dollar that you make back into your business and not being able to save none for emergencies, or not being able to save any for other investments or acquisitions or anything like that, right? Get a loan. I mean, I'm sorry, get a grant if you can, right? I'm saying they're both important, but I'm going to give loans for business funding, for business credit, a little bit more leverage over grants. But if you someone that's bootstrapping, go ahead and get those grants, and they got a lot of them out there. All you got to do is try.
Yeah, I completely agree with that when it comes to who needs the money, because I mean all businesses, all non for profits, they do need money and everything, but in the long run, because a lot of times when people are getting those grants and everything, they're not even getting the amount that they actually may be looking for or getting. You see what I'm saying? So it's just depending on how long you had your 501c3 or 501c4 as far as getting grants and everything. People. Okay, let's talk about it. The rich use foundations to wash or rinse their money through that for different tax breaks. People like us, we love our community, so we set those up to get donations and stuff, and we really about it. But sometimes we're using it in the wrong capacity sometimes. So we got to be able to leverage and get the 501c3 where it needs to be to get those type of grants and stuff like that. Because the bigger foundations, they running them grants up like that because why? They structure right. They probably got more history, all of that. So I'm always going to tell anybody, hey, listen, get that loan. Reason being is because however much they give you for however much you're going to be paying every month, whatever your payback towards that loan, you're going to take that to the side, put that in the separate account so those payments can get paid. So while you're using the other bread to pay back that loan, now you have, you can pay that loan back before the term is over with. So you really didn't probably come out too much money. All you did was just get a hard inquiry that you're gonna get removed anyway because it's gonna, you're gonna get it removed. Okay, hey, let's
You
talk
gonna see
about it.
Mr. Fix it because he
You
gonna
gonna
fix it
get
for you.
hey, for real, we gonna go right back to it. So I'm super pumped to just be here to even express that because that's really where we stand up with a lot of information when it comes down to loans because some people are afraid of loans because they like, well, I gotta pay it back. Okay, well, I got credit cards, like we got lines of credit. What's up? What's next? Because again, you're going to have to get into the loan capacity when you're doing business because again, some of that money that you're using for the credit cards and everything are catered to something already. So you're going to have to get you a loan to do something that you're trying to do big or, whatever it may be, back up, however it goes. So, yeah, I agree. The loans are, lucrative, depending on how you're, having your business structure and everything too. So how long have you been in business? How long you had your company?
I've been in business since I was 25, 25.
Okay.
But this
Okay.
particular company right here, I started about 4 years ago.
Okay. Okay. Cool. Cool.
Hmm.
Cool. Cool. And then like all this time and everything, that was something that you wanted to do because you went to college, correct or no?
Yep, I did.
Okay. What
Went to
was your
school.
degree?
I went to. So here's funny. I thought I was gonna be an architect. So
Really? Oh wow. Okay.
went
Cool.
to Tuskegee University School of Architecture, and I dropped out the program.
Mm.
Because I realized it just wasn't. I thought it was boring. Honestly, I'm just gonna be honest. It was kind of
Okay.
boring. I like to draw, but I didn't like all the rest of the elements that architecture was offering up. Especially with the math part, I couldn't stand all the math we was doing.
Trust me.
But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it was a lot. So anyway, I switched over to business. So I went to school for business.
Okay. Shouts out to Skiggy too, for sure, for sure. You going to the homecoming this year?
No,
Why
I I,
not?
I when I finished school, I finished at Morris Brown College.
Oh, Morris Brown, shout out. Hey, you know,
NBC, okay?
if you
I'm
listen, because I was in the
already.
bed. Nah, that's what I'm talking about. Because at the end of the day, I'm gonna tell you like this though. Morris Brown is maybe one of the only reasons I went to school when I saw Drumline. So it's like shouts out to Morris Brown. Like when I heard what had happened and everything, that's what really made me dig deep on like, how can we really help these institutions and these, community centers and stuff like that, actually really strive and everything. Because like I said again, sometimes they be having missing components, which is, people like us and everything, but just also just get into, different things. Because it's just like, when it comes to HBCU and just other things like that, we kind of looked at a little different way and everything. So it just be all over the place. But yeah, for sure, for sure. Okay. All right, cool, cool, cool. All right, so we got LLCs versus S-Corp. Which is better for tax savings and funding? So this is a whole, breakdown. So I know you're gonna have to go ahead, and I'm gonna help along with it as well too, because I went over this on one of my standing on businesses, and someone actually reached out to me and they were like, "Man, listen, I do need a breakdown of this because I think I did it the wrong way, and it was really about the LLC." And I said, you know what? You can't convert into an S corp because I think that was what your mind was on first, but you were probably just so caught up on like, let me just get an LLC first. But what is better you think as far as for tax savings and funding?
So for tax savings, to clarify, an S corp is a form file that you do with the IRS. So it's not an actual like corporation. Your corporation is going to be your LLC, right? And you're going to form file S corp. I think it's like 45. I don't know the actual number, but you're going to form file and do an election for S corp if you're trying to avoid double taxation. If you just have an LLC, you're going to pay uh, taxes twice, right?
Yeah.
And so to avoid paying taxes twice, when you get ready to do your taxes, you want to make sure you file for the election S corp in order to not have to be double taxed, right? But
Hmm.
for funding, I
It don't
mean, it
matter
is
what
your
you got.
LLC.
Come on.
It is your LLC. So you S people think S corp is an entity, and it's not, right?
Mm.
It's just an election that you do for your taxes. So your business, your entity is the LLC. So for funding, your LLC will be the best for funding. And then the best for saving on taxes would be that election S corp.
Talk about it. So would you say now if someone has a LLC, should they get the do the S corp and then put the LLC up under that holding company?
So if someone has an LLC and they're not trying to like build their business to have a bunch of members or a bunch of like what you call the directors and things of that nature, it's like the
Right.
LLC is the easiest thing to have, right? It's
Exactly.
so super easy. It protects you from a lot of different liabilities and things of that nature, right? And then so if you're gonna form file for S corp, then you only allowed to have like 100 members or owners of the business, whereas with LLC you can have unlimited members or owners, right? With S-Corp, it's again like a tax filing, so it's not an official business entity, like I said before. And then owners have to pay themselves, right, with an S-Corp. So you pay yourself a salary with an S-Corp versus
Mm-hmm.
an LLC. You can do a owner's draw, or you could pay yourself if you like. You can.
Mm-hmm.
There's different ways to get paid out of an LLC, right?
Yeah.
And then you avoid like double taxation on your profits with form file S corporation, right? So it's I think it's very beneficial to form file S corporation to save on taxes, because you're gonna save $15,000 a
For sure.
year.
Because the goal is to write off everything, correct? Basically, you
Well,
know.
honestly, I don't agree with that, and I'm gonna tell you why I don't agree. Why you want to write off everything? So you want to show that your business is making money, right?
Okay.
So for the first, the government will allow you to, the IRS. I shouldn't say the government, because the government and the IRS are two different things. But the
Mm-hmm.
IRS will allow you to basically take a loss for like 5 years,
Mm.
right? Take a loss on your business for 5 years, and after that, they're going to disregard your entity. You want to make money on your business, because if you don't start showing money on your business, then you're never gonna be able to apply for anything. You're never gonna qualify for anything. You won't
Mm-hmm.
qualify for a car. You can't qualify for a house. Then you get stuck in the situation where you got to go find things like uh, you might need to show them your bank statements to show that you're
Mm-hmm.
making, or somehow create things. People do things. There's no way for you to really
Talk
get
about it.
anything.
I'm there with you. I'm right there with you.
There's
Yeah,
no
for
way
sure, for sure.
to get anything. So you don't want to write off all of everything. You don't want to do that. But if you in a situation where you have to do it, and the IRS will allow it for the first 5 years of your business's life. But after that, if you keep trying to do that, then you're disregarded. You become a
Mm-hmm.
disregarded entity, just like a sole prop or an independent contractor.
Right. Yeah. And I said everything because it was like, when I first got started, because they were telling me, when you do get started and everything, you will get you a tax one, the tax one you was talking about from your bank, if you have to, because some businesses don't probably make the amount of money that they may need to write off and things of that nature. So I know when I had first started off and everything, I was like, oh, okay, well, I probably can do this, but I'm not going to be able to do it for long. And that's when you said for the first, like, depending on how many years you're going to be able to, because businesses do take loss. I mean, shoot, 2020 showed you enough from there, and even moving forward after that. Excuse me, some people wasn't able to bounce back and everything. So, I just like to say writing things off because of the nature of it. Because a lot of people don't have that virtue. They don't have that option sometimes. So it's like we have to try to educate. Yep, along the lines on how you can leverage that, and what I'm saying, scale your business, start another one, and use all of it, all the components together and everything. But yeah, okay, I see we cooking with gas. We cooking with gas. We got a couple of more left. Okay, all right. Should you pay off all debt before seeking business loan? Hmm. Pay off all debt before seeking business loans. Um, I can start with this one. So, as far as paying off all debt, depending on which debt it is. Like, I mean, if you're talking about some if you have something in business already, but as far as like on the personal side, of course, because the thing about it is the debt to income ratio, you have to have that up to par. Reason being is because the lenders are going to look at that, seeing how much debt you do have, and the income that may be coming in and everything. So always, but remember, all debts is paid. And I don't like to go down that rabbit hole, but you know as well as I know. I can't wait till we connect because a lot of things are just just laughed at us our whole life. And we were like, how do we even get this money? Like, okay, you say get a good credit score. Where's the money coming from? You giving me an auto loan? You giving me some credit cards? Wait a minute, where is money really coming from? It's coming from you because
Right, exactly.
we are not the debitors. We are real creditors.
The
We are the
creditors. We
original
are the
creditors.
creditors.
You see what I'm saying?
Yep.
So when it comes down to that, and for just keeping it short and simple for everybody and everything, you know, of course, if you able to prove, see, they have to prove that the debt is even yours. It's different proof of claims. It's different things. I have a letter that's called a conditional acceptance letter, and it has different proof of claims. It has different, law class action suits and everything that's on there that basically states, hey, listen. I will conditionally accept to whatever this account is if you can prove all 12 of these claims. And
Right.
9 times out of 10, almost 10 at a time, but 9 times out of 10, they won't be able to prove all those. Because why? Because they know who and what you really are for real, before you even know it. So,
Right.
but what's your intake on the debt thing? Because a lot of times some people like, well, I just paid the collector. Well, I pay. Man, you bet. Hey, watch out now,
Yeah.
but
So I was just telling my mom yesterday, she showed me a medical bill for $100. And I was like, you paying that? I said, if I was you, I wouldn't pay that.
no, not at all, baby.
Are no longer legally able to put that on your credit report anymore. Debt under 500,000, I mean 500,000, $500, medical debt under $500, they can't, what they gonna do?
Hmm.
Right?
Yep,
They're
and
gonna
my
have
sister boys, you got to get up with me.
to exactly. So for those of you who don't know what he was just talking about, pay down your debt. I wouldn't say pay it all the way off if you ain't got it, right?
Hmm.
But pay down your debt. But you don't want to pay something all the way off anyways because it drop your credit score. They love to see a little bit of a balance, right?
Yep.
They love
Hmm.
that. So if you can keep your balance in between that 3 to 6% range, that's the best. But no more than 10% is what I teach. It's 10%. I know the bank's threshold is a 30% utilization, but when you start getting in that 30% range, you really playing with fire. So stay
Yeah.
away from it. Yeah, I
Hmm.
say stay away from that. I teach 10% just to keep people away from the 30%, right?
Exactly.
Um,
Yep.
but yeah, if you don't have it, just pay down as much as you can, but you don't have to pay it all off. You just want your debt to income to be in a position where you can get the funding that you need. And there's even ways around that where you can move money around so when it reports to your credit report that it look a certain way, right?
Exactly.
So you can get funding. So there's even tricks to the trade for that too. That is just going, deep diving. People really, really, really need to get serious and learn about this credit system, right? This credit system is a beautiful system if you know how to operate it. And if you know how to operate it, you can put yourself in a really good position and a really good space to manifest any dream that you like. You came here as a living, breathing entity, and
Let's go.
and they
I told y'all, man, today I felt it.
so
Hey,
they
come
over there
on with it, man.
thinking
Sing the
you
blues,
not.
baby. Them the blues right there, baby. That's the blues right there. Talk to him, Elon. Oh my goodness. Yes, yes, yes. Man, we got some fire coming now. Oh man, this was so dope. Oh, for sure, for sure. Like, so much things, transpire over time. Some people be stuck in their ways. We want, and like you would say, you talk about our parents and our aunts and uncles and everybody else maybe around us and everything. But it's like when you actually doing it now, and then you actually being able to show them in front of their face because again, that's how we were taught growing up. It was a lot of just visuals, you know what I'm saying? Without, the internet and everything, it was either a paper or something in black and white. So now it's just like, I can't wait till we, come back with another one. I know we got to set up a master class now because it's just like we didn't even get to the part about trust and, things of that nature and stuff like that, insurance policies and everything. Like you say, becoming your own bank, knowing, what is what and how to. We didn't even go to remedies and stuff like that. So I learned it's a million ways to skin a cat when you step into wealth literacy, and I know that's what you teach, you educate. It's not about financial anymore. It's about how can we establish and build wealth, because it's going to take a team. It's going to take a few of our cousins here and there, a few of our peers, our friends here and there. Once they get the concept and everything, you give them a lift, you lift something that they can eat off of and everything, and now they like, this tasting it
Yep.
good. I want a little bit more. And now you setting up their plate, because a lot of people be like, well, I don't want too much on my plate now. Well, shoot, we are I know I've got a little healthy. I'm gonna try to stay fit, but hey, have my plate up. Everybody don't be anybody
Right.
that don't eat. I want to eat, so I can teach everybody else how to eat. Is like what I'm saying, a never ending cycle. So man, today was super dope. Again, Elon, I'm telling you right now, like, I got butterflies right now, because I told Delano, like, the time is now and our time is, here, and it's been coming. And, the more people that we can collab with and connect with, the objective will get out there, what I'm saying, the message. We just the messages, what I'm saying? And, while we continue doing that and giving back and everything, I already know a lot is going to come back tenfold. So, shout out to you for hopping on, because you could have been doing anything else, right now. And like I said again, I'm super pumped, because I just got so many ideas now on just like saying, moving forward. And then Delano, he's like I said, he's the whole puppet master with everything, putting everything together to make everything flow and be good. So again, thanks for hopping on. I know, like I say, more is to come. Shout out to Delano. Delano, we gotta. Hey, listen, Delano, I'm gonna talk to you, because while you interviewing everybody and doing this and everything, I got some questions for you, because bro, you so dope in everything you do. Like, we need to hear some more gems from you. You know what I'm saying? But shouts out to you. Giving everybody a platform to get on and talk about everything it is that they do and everything. But I want you to close us out with one remark, Elon. As far as what's coming up now. So it's the spring and everything. And, some people that maybe it is, because, everybody has the different seasons. Can you give, one tip, for someone that wants to start a business? They don't have an LLC. They don't have, they just got the plan. They just got the idea. Can you give somebody some motivation and, a tip that they can do to get jump started, what I'm saying, for the spring and the summer coming up?
Okay, so if you're trying to start a business and you really want to, you got it in your head, the first thing you need to do is put it on paper. That's the very first thing you need to do is put it on paper. Put it on paper, right? Even if it's like it's not a plan that's well thought out. Put it on paper and then start executing your plan, right? But the very first thing that you can possibly do to help yourself in business is start that LLC. You want to start the seasoning, get it. Go to your local Secretary of State, register your domain, your name for your business, and then pay the fee. It's like $100, $200 depending on what city or state you in. Sometimes up to $500. But if you got it, then just register and let it start seasoning as you write your plan. Okay, so that's what I
Okay.
would tell you: paper, and then start that LLC, get it seasoned.
Hmm. Great. And I love that. I think my giveaway for that, because I've been getting a lot of people that ask and everything, and I just tell them, hey, listen, prepare your mind, prepare your mindset for your business to revolve around your personal. Because when you're working for somebody, it's totally different.
Yep.
You only thinking about that. But when you start a business and you're actually going to launch it, like you say, making a business plan, which Mr. Delano and the mob, we will help assist. And I know Elon does have those services as well, conducting and getting you a actual business plan that you can take and show to different people, what it is it consists of. But the mindset, you got to start with a positive mental attitude, because there's going to be times in business where you're going to have to make different decisions, not choices, everything is a decision, because that decision is going to is going to set in the whole time you're going to be, running your business and conducting. Because the goal is to expand, you guys, build more franchises, things like that, So don't just think that it's a small business, because some people be like, oh well, yeah, it's just I'm a black owned small business. No, you are a business. Stop putting small in front of it. Just because you got maybe one or two employees, or if you don't have an employee, hey, listen, trust and believe. When whoever we look at as millionaires and billionaires, they started, saying themselves. So they had to think like that. That's why I say mindset is a very key component. So always remember positive mental attitude. You want to start with that glass full, not half full, because by the end of the day, you're gonna be on empty. So always start with your glass full. Come in with, like I said again, faith based. Because sometimes, most of the time, it's blind faith, but that's the best faith that you can have. Because I'm telling you, when you get there and you finally see improvement and your business growing and everything, it's gonna be like, a burden lifted up off you, and now you're gonna want to hit the ground running even more. So, that's it for today, man. Thursday, standing on business. I'm telling you guys, I'm so pumped. This day, I think this day is going to, change a lot for a lot of, people that's going to be coming around. Because now, I'm telling you, standing on business, we're going to the next level now. All right. So peace and love to everybody. Shout out to you guys again for hopping on. Anybody for your love and support. Like I said again, like, share, comment, also subscribe. And like I said again, tune into the mob. Let's go.
Shout out to Mob.